stories for a sermon? So like writing stories, have you ever done that? Versus finding stories? And if you've written stories, how do you incorporate that into your sermon? How do you do it without, seeming fake or, does that make sense?
The first thing I will say, and that goes back to the personal stories. If you're pastoring somewhere, if you're preaching to the same people for a long period of time, you can really overdo the personal story thing. And you have to be very careful that you don't degenerate into telling personal stories every sermon, because, boy, they get tired of that fast. And so, it's something that you use carefully and occasionally, personal stories. And yes, I've written some sermons. In my case, mostly I've written sermons that were published by someone else, but sermons that had personal stories in those. I'm prone to take personal stories for those sermons more than other stories, because what happens is preachers that read books are always looking for illustrations, and they will read you if they know that every once in a while they'll get a story that they could use in their own sermon somewhere. And so it's very gratifying to me when somebody comes up to me and says, I read that story you put in that sermon, and I'm using that story in a sermon of mine. So I think, again, that's part of the audience that you're working with. But I think you can take a lot of things. I'm thinking about one preacher that preached a whole sermon on a game of horseshoes. That was his basic, this was not me, but a really well-known preacher in this state. Preached a whole sermon on when he played horseshoes sometime when he was a kid, and, getting close but never getting a horseshoe around the post and all that sort of thing. That was the basis of his whole sermon. And he kept everybody involved in it. Older people, younger people, everybody was involved. What can be more boring than a game of horseshoes? But he kept everybody involved throughout the whole sermon with that. So I do think some guys stretch it out too much. They'll take a story and they'll just stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. And my opinion is, tell a story, get through it,